Hey Eric,
Hello.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So remember how I told you the other day, in my use actual value, I was getting 0 feet, 0 inches all the time.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I asked you to upload your model.
Yes, it is.
Yes, so I opened up your model a few days ago, and I keep getting the same issue. I don't know why. I
Oh,
always get use value 0 feet, 0 inches. I don't know why.
wait, for what? Like,
So
where do you
like
get that?
if you go into your model and you zoom into the door dimension or the that 1 foot offset near the door at 101.
This one here?
Yeah, and if you double click the 1 foot dimension to bring
Uh-huh.
up the dimension text, I always get a use actual value of 0 feet. Yeah, right there. Use actual value 0 feet, 0 inches, even
It
with your
says
model.
0 feet, 0 inches there.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Does it say 0 feet, 0 inches here?
No, it doesn't. It says exactly what you have on your screen.
That's really odd.
Yeah, it's weird. Do you think it'll affect anything?
No. Well, I say no. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, I know.
As long as that's a foot and it says a foot here, I don't understand. What we'll do is we're going to place a few more dimensions tonight and we'll click
Yeah.
one and we'll just kind of test it and see if it gives you the real value here.
Okay.
Maybe because we're messing around with it.
Yeah.
That is odd. How about right here? What does it say right here?
So the same thing, 0. It's
That's
weird.
so weird.
Yeah.
That I don't.
Well, let's see what happens tonight.
Yeah. I think as
Thank
long
you
as it
though.
says it's a foot here, I think we should be
Yeah.
straight.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
No problem. I didn't really help you. I don't. I'm not sure. Give it a couple more minutes and we'll get started. I know my screen's a little smaller tonight because if you remember last week, my Blackboard Collaborate kind of crashed on me. So I'm hoping I changed my monitor out. I know the screen's a little smaller, but I'm hoping we don't have the same issue. We're almost done anyway, but
What kind of music do you record, by the way?
oh, I used to be in a band. We were more like the Grateful Dead or a Fish kind of jam band. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, in this studio, I record, and you'll probably have to listen to a couple of them. I do LinkedIn Learning videos.
Yeah.
So I this is my studio for that also.
Got it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm an old nerd now, so I only do things that make money. Unfortunately, being a band was never one of those things.
At least you gave it a shot.
I did. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And if you had fun, that's what matters. I mean, as long as you
You
have
know, I
fun
did.
doing
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
Thing is, you get in these bands, and a lot of people here in there think they're going to be, rock stars. So they're
Right.
pretty serious, and it's like you're not going to be. I think these people are all still in bands. They're probably a lot happier than me. I
Yeah.
don't know. Try not to think about it. Thanks for asking, though.
Yeah. No problem.
All right. It looks like everyone has 13 out of
Wait,
55.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
So do you remember which one was the door that we were supposed to put? I think it was one of the double doors. Yeah.
It was this one right here. So yeah. So if you didn't get that door loaded, let's load that door. So go to the architecture tab.
Okay.
Yeah, and go to door.
Okay.
And now let's click load family right here.
Okay.
And now this is where if you didn't put the doors in the right spot, maybe you'll have to find them. If they're in English Imperial, you have your doors directory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Let's go to doors. Let's go to commercial. I grabbed door exterior double.
Why is my commercial folder empty?
And I don't remember the size. It doesn't matter. We got 16 feet to work with, so I'm going to open this up. And I think we grabbed 84 by 80. Click OK. And I'll delete this door, and then I'll make sure that I'm putting in this one here. So what we did was we wanted to swing out, right? And make sure you click tag on placement. And I'm going to drop it in this wall. Now remember, if we type SM for snap mid, it will find the midpoint of that wall, and then we can just drop it in. Mine says 108. Your probably says 107. Well, no, yep, you can just rename it to 107 if you had deleted that other door. Did you get it?
When I type SM, it just like gets out of the command.
SM and then you click.
So let's make sure that, like, if you delete the door that's there and you go to door, now make sure you've got it in the properties. I grabbed the 84 by 80. Now don't just, when you hover your cursor over this wall, type SM, but make sure you don't hit enter after that. Just type SM, and it should kind of pause right there. Make sure you don't hit enter. And then you should see those
Oh yeah,
two.
I got it now.
Yeah, it's a natural reflex to type enter after that. But yeah, just SM and it'll kind of find it. And then I just clicked on my tag, and I called it 107. Just like that. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
No problem. So here's what we want to do now. So
How do you click on the
what's that? Go ahead. I'm
tag?
sorry.
Yep. How do you click on the tag?
So what you want to do is, it's kind of, because when you hover over it, you kind of hit the door first. If you hover over this and you can't hit the tag, just select it. Now notice the tag turns blue. Now you can pick the tag.
Oh, but that didn't happen for me.
What's that?
It didn't happen for me. It does not turn blue.
So go ahead and just hover over it and select it once. Make sure you hit escape a few times first too. Now select the door.
No, that command actually does not work for me.
You have the door in there now?
It only selects the door for me. It does not select the tag.
Yeah, that's fine. Select the door. See, now I'm way off the tag. Now just hover over the top of the tag
Oh,
and
yeah.
click on that.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And I just called it 107. I'll hit save just because it's a good idea. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Here's what we're going to do. I want to mirror all of these walls, doors, windows, and door down to here. Okay, it's a little bit tricky to do it. So here's what we've got to do. If you hold down your control key, okay, you see there's a little plus next to your cursor, right? So if you hold down your control key, there's a little plus next to the cursor. Select all of your windows. Now, you can pan with your wheel button, but to do it, you have to let go of your control key. Just don't pick anything else. Hold your control key back down and keep selecting the windows. Select the doors. Notice they all turn blue. And if you don't get it on the first pass, it's okay. Now we're going to select these walls. And we're going to select this door. Now I'll wait a couple minutes. Or I'll hit escape. I'll do it again too as I'm going through. I hold down my control key, select these windows. Actually, it's probably better if you zoom out like this. Hold down your control key again. Select all of these. And the door here. Don't select this wall or this wall. Don't select the exterior walls, just the interior partitions, the doors and the windows. I'm not worried about the tags either. If you accidentally select a tag, that's fine. Is anyone having trouble? It'll be hard to walk you through it. I don't think I can look at your screen, can I? Okay, so with these selected, all right, and if you didn't get them all, you can always still just mirror them additionally, right? You don't have to get them all at once. But with these items selected, what I want to do is on the modify panel, I want to click on this icon right here. This is mirror pick axis. Or notice in parentheses, you can type MM. So click on mirror pick axis. I'm going to come down right to this horizontal reference plane, right? And I'm going to pick it. And it's going to mirror my stuff. Anyone need another swat at it? I can do it again if we need. I'm the teacher. Everyone got it? Well, that's awesome. Sure? Okay, good. I thought we'd need a couple passes. I underestimated you. Good job. All right, now here's what I want to do. I want to tag all of these doors and all of these windows at once, right? So remember, if we go to annotate, we go over to the annotate tab. I want to click on this button right here. This is called tag all not tagged. Right, so we can click tag all not tagged. Right now here, right, I want to select door tags. Scroll down till we find window tags. Right? Click apply. Click OK. And we're all tagged up. Did anyone not get that?
Is it fine if my tags, like the first tag is on the outside of the wall, but then the other tags are on the inside?
For the windows?
Yeah.
Well, what that probably means is your window might be on the inside like that. The tag doesn't matter, but if you select the window, you always want the operating side to be exterior.
Oh, yeah,
The
I
tag
guess
doesn't really matter.
How do I
The
change
window
that?
does. What's that?
How do I change the window to be facing out?
So if the window here is in the wrong direction, what you want to do is just hover over the window and select it. Notice you get this little double arrow flip icon. Go ahead and click on that, and it should flip it into the correct orientation. Now, it's not going to move the tag, though. The tag will still be on the inside. So you can just select the tag. You can grab that little move icon, and you can drag it down.
Okay. I see. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you're asking the questions. It's good. This is a save moment for sure. Click save. Excellent.
And
All right.
sorry, I didn't get the tag. I
Okay,
fell
so what you want to do is go to the annotate tab,
behind. Yeah.
and we want to come over here to tag all not tagged. You find that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now select that, and we want to click on door tags, and then we want to scroll down and we want to select window tags. We want
Okay.
both categories. Now if we click apply right here, okay, it should tag the rest of the doors and windows.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And then, like I said, let's hit save just to make sure we don't lose nothing. All right, now I want to model some interior partitions up on level 2, okay? So under floor plans in your project browser, find level 2, and let's double click on level 2. Now, as I mentioned last week, right, just because level 1, you don't have to go back down to level 1. Notice that the detail level is set for fine. Level 2, it isn't, because any change we make here only affects the current view that we're in. So what we want to do is this detail level on our view control toolbar, we want to click that, and we want to set it to fine. Right, that way we can see our wall layers, right? But one thing that I don't really care to see is the underlay of level 1. I don't want to see these walls. They don't do anything for us up here, right? So in our properties, and again, I know mine is a little bit scrunched down here because of my resolution. I need you to scroll down until you find underlay, right? And I know it's tough to see. See where it says underlay? And it says range base level. I don't want that to say level 1. I want to click the drop down here, and I want this to be none. And I want to hit apply. Range base level will be none. Did anyone not get that? Excellent. We're killing it tonight. All right. You guys are pros already. Now, I want to put a wall here. It's going to be a radial wall. It's going to be it's going to be a 40-foot radius, okay? So to do that, right, we don't have a wall to right click and create similar. So we need to go back to the architecture tab. We need to go back to wall. Now I want the wall to be basic wall, interior, 6 1/8 inch partition. And remember, we discussed that that's a 2-hour fire rating, correct? So we're going to grab this wall right here. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is on the draw panel, we need to define the geometry of this wall. So we're going to go to start, end, radius, arc. So that's going to be the wall type. It's going to be an arc wall, right? So we're going to click that. Now for my location line, I want to make sure that it is set for finish face interior. Okay. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go starts, end, and then the direction that the arc is going to go in. So I'm going to zoom in here. Remember, I can wheel away from me. It zooms in. I hold down my wheel button. It pans. I'm going to select my end point right here. That's a good question. It does not matter if chain is on, because all we have to do is hit escape. I like that you noticed that. That's awesome. So we're going to come down to this one now, and we're going to select this endpoint here. And we're going to move our cursor. The problem is we got to be like within the neighborhood of 40 feet, right? So I'm at like 38 or whatever. I'm going to just type in 40 and hit enter. I'm going to hit escape a few times. And good. It actually didn't work out as well as I would have liked, but I'm glad because it's a learning moment. So we should have a wall here now that's arced. Does anyone need me to do it again? Oh, this might be the last. Nope, doesn't. Excellent. Now, zooming in on this end here, some of yours joined fine. Some of yours probably looks like mine, which didn't actually join up. So if I select my wall, and there's a little grip right here, a little blue grip. I'm going to pick that blue grip and I'm going to drag it in just so it hits the wall inside of here somewhere. And notice that Revit will join it up, right? I'm going to come down to this one here. I'm going to grab this grip. I'm going to drag it in. And I'm going to let it join up like that. Now we can see that that's a nice clean wall join. And that our little walls right here like that. Did anyone not get that? Excellent. Okay, now this next one is tricky, okay? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an 8-foot corridor, 8-foot wide corridor up this hallway. We can't just like go to wall and like draw a double wall, which would be kind of neat. There's no real corridor command. So I'm going to do it first. Okay, watch me do it first, and then we'll do it together as a class. So I'm going to go back to architecture. I'm going to go to wall. But in this case, I'm going to give it an offset of 4 feet. The question was asked earlier if chain matters. I want chain to be turned on at this point. Right, and I have a 4-foot offset, but I'm still going to just draw a line. Right, so I'm going to zoom right into this intersection here. I'm going to pick this midpoint. And I'm going to draw a line going this way, right? So I'm going to draw my wall going just like that. I'm going to put it into this wall here, and I'm going to come straight back. And I'm going to pick a point right here. I'm going to hit escape a few times. And there we go, right? So hopefully that's 8 feet. Okay, let's do it together as a class. Ready? On the architecture tab, let's click wall. Now let's turn chain on if it's not already. Let's give it an offset of 4 feet. Let's make sure the finished face interior is still the current location line. Let's zoom in on this area here. I'm going to pick this midpoint of this arced wall right here. I'm going to pick that point and I'm going to start moving over to the left. Notice now that my wall is coming in real nice. I'm going to pick somewhere in this wall. I'll probably still have to join that wall a little better, but that's fine. I'm going to pick a point like right here. I'm going to come straight back, and I am going to pick the midpoint right here. Snag it. I'm going to hit escape a couple times. Now I have a sneaking suspicion so that my wall didn't quite. So all I need to do is just select this wall, grab that grip, and just drag it in just a little bit, and it will join it. Then I hit save just because I'm cool like that. How'd we do? Okay. Anyone need me to repeat it? Now, by me showing you that method, that's my personal preference, how to draw like corridors and stuff. So the ways to do it, I guess, you could draw the first wall, then mirror it. I don't know. There's different ways to get the walls in there. This is how I like to do it. So, excellent. Oh, look, we need a door here, though, don't we? The trick is to put the door in here, but there's no way we'll get it to line up. So we're going to have to put the door in, then we're going to align it to this reference plane. Okay, that's what we're going to do now. So to do that, go to the architecture tab, now go to door. I don't want the exterior door, it's too big anyway. So we're going to go to load family again. And this time it should default right to the doors directory. Passage would be interior. So let's grab door, passage, double flush. Remember, this time we only have 8 feet, so we're probably going to want to get a 6-foot door in there. So door, passage, double flush, or whatever you want. I don't care. It's your door. I'm grabbing door, passage, double flush. I'm going to click open. Okay, so let's grab 72 by 84. Yeah, that gives us a foot because we're going to put an 8-foot ceiling in there in a while, in a minute. 72 by 84 gives us a foot on each side for that corridor, right? 72 by 84, I'm going to click OK. Now, make sure tag on placement is selected. If not, we know how to go back and tag it, right? So the trick is, okay, we want it to swing into the corridor, but there's no way you're going to be able to locate it. Even if you type SM, it doesn't work along an arc. So what I generally do is I'm going to place it knowingly off the mark, right? So I'm going to put it like right here, knowing that it's in the wrong spot. Then I'm going to go to my Manage tab. No, duh. I'm going to go to, oh man, so I'm running out of spaces here. I'm going to go all the way down to my Modify tab. So click your Modify tab. You probably don't have to do that, but I have too many damn ribbons. So I'm going to go to Modify. Right? Now I want to click on this button right here, which is Align. You could type AL for Align, and it essentially does the same thing, right? So I'm going to go to Align. Now, we want to select the line we want to align to first. So we're going to select this horizontal reference plane right here. We're going to select this first. Now, if we hover over just the middle of our door right here, we'll see that there is a center line for our door. So we're going to hover over the center line right here. We're going to pick that. Now that's going to be aligned. Don't lock it. Just once it's aligned, hit escape a few times. Did anyone not get that? Excellent. I don't really care for the door number. So instead of 115, we're going to click on 115, or we're going to click on the door, I should say. And we're going to click on the tag. Let's just call it 200. Hit enter. And that's that. Hit escape a few times. Any questions or comments? Great. Excellent. Now, what I want to do is I want to add some dimensions. Okay. And again, I still have only brought it up a couple times. So, you know, I do want you to do your own project. You can get started anytime. You really didn't have much to go by before to get started, but now you're kind of getting, you know, we can get the exterior of the walls in. But dimensions are the one thing I want to see the most of, and sheets. Okay, we're going to do both of those tonight, right? So the question's been, you know, if I model a house and someone else models Slocum Hall, are they getting a better grade than me? Then the answer to that question is no. If someone hands me Slocum Hall with no sheets and no dimensions, I'm going to come back on you. You know, at the 50%, like I said, you got to hand it in at 50%. I'm going to type an email to you and say, hey, listen, I need you to add sheets and dimensions. That's going to be most of my feedback, right? Unless you don't have any floors or ceilings or any, you know, but we're going to cover all that. So you don't need to know that right now. Okay. But what I want to do is add some dimensions. Okay. So let's go back to the.
Hey, Professor.
Yes. Go ahead.
I can't find the align button. Could you repeat that process?
Absolutely. So I'm going to misalign Oh, see that? I ran into the wall and Reva got mad at me. Boy, did it get mad. Okay, so now what you need to do is, I know that the modify, my modify tab is off my screen here. So I need to click this, but you need to go to modify. You should have it up here somewhere at the towards the end. And you should have the modify panel. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Yes. So this icon right here is the align icon. That's the one you want.
Okay.
Click that one. Now we're going to select the reference plane that we want to align to first. So we're going to pick this horizontal reference plane here. Now we're going to come over and we're going to pick the center line of this door. We're going to align it to that. Did it work?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yes. And we renumbered it to 200. I think. Sure did. Then we hit save. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, I want to add a dimension here. So we're going to go to the Annotate tab. And I want to go to Radial dimension right here. Radial. And we're going to zoom in on this wall. We're going to hover over the center line of it. You see where we can pick up the center line? We're going to pick that. And that dimension is going to come off of here. Right? So we can place it pretty much anywhere. Okay. Hit escape a couple times. I want to move down to this side of the corridor. Okay. I want to select my aligned dimension. I want to go from the inside face. Well, before we do that, let's make sure wall faces is selected from our options. And we're going to pick individual references. I can't remember what the last one was we did. So wall faces, pick individual references. So we're going to put 2 dimensions, and we're going to put 1 8-foot dimension. So I'm going to pick this wall here, the inside face. I'm going to pick the reference plane. I'm going to pick this inside face. I'm going to move my cursor outside of the wall. I'm going to pick a spot, like, see where my cursor is, right about here. Now I'm going to pick this inside face of this wall. I'm going to pick the inside face of this wall. And move my cursor. Notice how it kind of snaps. Whoop, that was a bad example. When I dimension it, notice how it kind of snaps like that. Pick that point. Hit escape a few times. Anyone not 8 feet? It's perfect. And I always recommend every time you add walls and stuff, dimension them as soon as possible. Because if they're not accurate, you'll be going back later trying to straighten it out. Okay? It's better off seeing if you're not accurate now than it is later on down the road. How are we looking? Good? Any questions or comments? I know you guys will ask if you have them. Of course, remember we're recording it. Oh, hello. I'm sorry, was that a question? You might be cutting out. Okay. You can raise your hand too if that was a question and it's just cutting out. I don't know how to respond to that, but I wonder if I can raise my hand. Oh, look at that. I can raise my hand. See that? Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. What are we going to do? Here's what we're going to do. Let's go down to level 1, floor plan. I want to add a floor in here. It's going to be a 6-inch slab on grade. Okay. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to go to level 1 floor plan. We need to go to the architecture tab. And we need to find the floor button. Yours is going to look a little different than mine because my screen resolution is pretty tight. So we're going to want to click the floor button. Click it. Now, here's what we need to do. This is a generic 12-inch floor. I don't want that. What I want is a 6-inch slab on grade. This is going to be a big hunk of concrete. Okay. So for floor generic 12-inch, what we want to do is click on edit type. Now what this is going to do, my dialogue is humongous. Now edit type, so that means anything here that we change is going to affect every floor that says generic 12-inch, which means that I would rather just duplicate this. I want to make a duplication of this generic 12-inch sample that comes with the software, right? So instead of generic 12-inch, I want to go to duplicate. Oh, here it is down here. Go to duplicate, and let's just call it 6-inch slab on grade. 6-inch slab on grade. And then we're going to click OK. Now down here, let's click the preview button. Because it's a nice preview of a section through this. Okay, now for the structure, let's click on the edit button. Now inside of here, the function structure on the material, let's click into where it says material. Instead of by category, I'm going to click on this little browse button right here. And we're going to browse for a material. So I'm just going to type in concrete here, C-O-N-C, find conc. Let's go with concrete cast in place gray. Concrete cast in place gray. Now we'll just click OK. Now for the thickness of that, let's make it 6 inches. Don't make it 6 feet. That'll be too thick. We just want 6 inches. Let's click OK. Let's click OK. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to pick the inside of the exterior wall all the way around it, right? So we're going to pick a spot right here, right on the inside face. We're going to pick a spot right here. I'm going to pick an inside face right here. Pick an inside face right here. I'm going to pick one right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. So see how we pick the entire perimeter, right? We're going to hit escape a couple times. Anyone not get that? Anyone not have that footprint? Well, we'll find out in a second. because what I need you to do now is to see the green check mark on the mode panel. I want you to click on that green checkbox button. We're going to finish edit mode. We're going to click that. Now the floor is not blue, it just happens to be selected. So if you hit escape a couple times, we got our floor in, right? Remember how to go to a 3D view. So go ahead and click on the default 3D view right here. I'm spinning out for a second. Ooh, we got ourselves a floor. Now, here's the thing, okay? If we look at it from underneath, it doesn't look right, right? That doesn't look right, and it's not. See, you can see a gap between the door. In a couple of weeks, we're gonna put a structural model underneath this. We're gonna put a structural foundation, so that's gonna pick up this weird looking ledge, right? So right now we're good, but in a couple of weeks, we're gonna actually put a structural foundation underneath that. Okay. Questions, comments? We're doing great. We're doing great. Oh yeah, you can see our second floor stuff in there. Okay. Let's go back to level 2 this time. Let's go to level 2. Notice you can click on the little tab, or of course in the project browser under floor plans, you can go to level 2. Right? That's just how you switch views. Just how we're doing in the airport model. Same thing. Right? Because what we're going to do now is we're going to put a floor in here. And usually I walk up to the whiteboard and kind of illustrate how this is going to work. But I'm just going to really just show you real quick. Like if I select this wall, click edit type. Now notice this wall system. Okay, what we see here is we see, right? We see a brick facade, right? This brick facade is going to run all the way continuously to the very top floor, right? But now if we look inside, right? If we see structure 1, metal stud, those are metal studs. Those are light gauge metal framing. They don't hold anything up other than gypsum, right? That's pretty much all it does. So what we need to do is our floors actually needs to extend into here, right? It needs to cut this volume out. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually model our floor into this wall. We're going to cut that out. So that way this goes up to the bottom of the floor and the top goes to the top of the floor, if that makes sense. You'll see in a second. I'm going to cancel, hit cancel. I'll zoom out. We should hit save just because. No, someone's got connection problems. There we go. Okay. Make sure we're good. Now, let's go to the floor button again. We can start with our 6-inch slab on grade. That's a good start. Let's click edit type. Yes, the last step was we're going to go to the floor button. Was that the one? Hopefully. So yeah, we're going to go to the, uh-oh, Andrew, I think you have connection problems. Sorry. It's funny I can see that, but. Was that a question? I saw a hand go up.
That was an accident, sorry.
Yes. Oh, so really all I did was this, was I just illustrated to you that we're going to model our floor right into here. I didn't do anything. I just wanted you to see that there's going to be a floor that extends into this wall core. So, I didn't change anything in this dialog. You cancel out of here. Hit escape. You're welcome. Let's make sure that we're in level 2. Let's go to the floor button right here.
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh. Did I hear an oh no? good. Okay. So we're going to go to the floor button. Now we can start with our 6-inch slab on grade. That's fine. So we're going to come down here. We're going to click Edit Type. I want to hit Duplicate again. We'll call it 5-inch slab on deck with finish. 5-inch slab on deck with finish. Then we're going to click OK. We're going to go to Structure. We're going to click Edit right here. Structure will still be concrete. I want to make that 5 inches. But now I want to start inserting some layers, okay? So that's going to be 5 inches. I want to click on the number 3 right here. So if we click on number 3, we can click on the Insert button right here. Now instead of Structure 1, we click the pull down, and let's scroll down to the very bottom. And I want to grab Structural Deck. Structural Deck. Notice what that does is that's going to turn this into what you would normally see, right? They put the structural deck down first, they tack weld it to the top of the beams, and then they pour the concrete on top of that. Does that make sense? Good.
Could you repeat that?
What's that?
Could you repeat that again?
Yeah. So I will delete that. So right now we changed our concrete to 5 inches. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to click on the number 3 right here. And I want to click Inserts. Because it's 2 structure rows. But instead of Structure 1 on the bottom one here, I want to click on this little drop-down menu. I want to scroll down till I find Structural Deck.
But
then we're gonna...
error. I got an error saying that extrusion is too thin.
Make sure the Structure 1 concrete is 5 inches. And for this one, before you do anything, you're just going to hit the drop down and go Structural Deck. And it should gray that out.
Okay.
Make sure it doesn't say anything here. Make sure that's 0.
Okay.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now let's click on the number 1 core boundary. Let's click Insert. For the function, instead of structure, I want to change it to substrate. We're going to put 1/4 inch plywood in there. Then we're going to put 3/4 inch hardwood flooring on top of that. So we're going to go to substrate. And for the material, we can click into where it says material. Click on the little browse button. And I want to just up here type in plywood. Let's see what we find. Perfect, right here, plywood sheathing. Now let's click OK. Now I want to make the thickness 1/4 inch. And it's pretty thin, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's in there. So now if we click on substrate, is anyone not with me? I was afraid I'm going too fast. I can't read anybody's faces or anything, so it's kind of, I think we're doing okay though. We're going to click on substrate. We'll click on inserts. And for the function, I want this to be finish 1. For the material, I want to click in here where it says by category. Let's click on the browse button. Now let's type in wood. What we get? Ooh, yeah, right here. Oak flooring. Everyone have oak flooring? Good. With oak flooring selected, let's click OK. For the thickness, let's make it 3/4 of an inch. You know what? I don't like the hatch pattern on it. So let's click back into the material where it says oak flooring. Let's click the little browser button again. Notice that down here for the cut pattern. We can change that to a wood cut pattern. So instead of diagonal down, I want you to just click on this big white area here. Now we can scroll down to the bottom. Which one do I like? Which one do I like? I like wood 1. It's a little more dense. Let's grab wood 1. Click OK. Let's click apply. Let's click OK. It doesn't look much different because it's so small, but we're going to cut a section through it and really blow it up. It's going to look fine and dandy. I think I got it right. Yeah, I got it all right. Okay, now let's hit OK. Hit OK. All right, now here's what we need to do. Come over to this wall. All right, and I need you to hover your cursor right over the middle of that wall, right where I'm hovering mine. We're going to pick the middle of that wall. And you'll see these 2 parallel magenta lines. That means our deck span is running in this direction, okay? We're going to come up, we're going to pick the center line of this wall. We're going to pick the center line of this wall. We're going to pick the center line of this wall. But don't pick the radial wall. We're going to draw a line. Our floor is going to stop here. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to put a nice staircase here. It's going to be pretty. We're going to come down. We're going to pick the center line of this wall. We'll pick the center line of this wall. And now we're going to pick the center line of this wall here. So we have this perimeter kind of selected. Okay. On the draw panel, we're going to click the line button. Now we're going to scroll into here. We're going to pick the end point of that magenta line. We add a thickness for the deck. No, that's a good question. So that deck is 1.5 by 2 inch composite deck. So the thickness is already added to it. That's a good question. So if you can't select the center lines, make sure that on the draw panel you have pick walls selected. Yeah, sometimes you can accidentally click off of that. So you have pick walls selected, then you can pick the wall. Yep, no problem. Now for this line here, we're just going to click on the line button. And we're going to draw a line from the end point of this line here down to the end point of this line right here. And we're going to hit escape a few times. Oh, it's going to be nice. And I'll wait a couple seconds. Okay. With this in here, we're going to do the same thing we did on the first floor. We're going to click Finish Edit Mode. Now, this time it's a little different because it asks us some questions. Would you like the walls that go up to this floor's level to attach to its bottom? We do want it to, right? Because when we drew those walls on the first floor, we drew them from finished floor level 1 to finished floor level 2, which means that they're cutting through this floor if we don't do that. So let's attach those walls to the bottom of this floor by clicking Attach. Now, the next question, it wants to know if we want to cut the volume of wall out from the perimeter of this. And we do want to do that. So let's click Yes right here. Now let's hit Escape a couple times. Hit Save. Did anyone not get it? Good. Doing pretty well here. Pretty well indeed. Okay. 729. Here's what I want to do. I want to do a couple sheets. Okay, we're going to cut a section. We're going to create what's called a call out. We're going to make a sheet, and then I'll let you go. Okay. Should only take like 10 minutes or so. So let's go down to level 1. Go to the Annotate tab. I'm sorry. Go to the View tab. Go to the View tab. Let's click the Section button. Section. Now it's going to be a 2-pick process. We're going to pick a spot like around here. We're going to pick a spot over here, okay? So the first point I want to pick, notice if you hover your cursor kind of near that or parallel to that reference plane, it kind of picks it up. So we need to pick a point like right here. It doesn't have to be perfect either. It could be up here. It doesn't matter. We're going to pick a spot like right here and pick that point. We're going to move our cursor over to the right, and we're going to pick a point right here. We're going to hit Escape a couple times. I cannot stand that, so I'm going to select my dimension and just drag it out a little bit. It's a pet peeve of mine. So notice I just kind of hovered over, I picked it. We can drag that dimension wherever we want. Or we can select our section. We can grab our little grip here. We can drag this in or out as well, okay? Hit Escape a bunch of times. Now I want to open this section up. So we're going to double click right on the button, on the bubble right here. So we're going to double click right here. Now here's a section through our wall. Our door looks like it's offset, but that's along that radius. So that's correct. You know, here's all of our doors that are here. Notice that we could even tag our doors in elevation if we wanted to, right? You don't have to do that. I'm just illustrating that you can. Now, what I want to do, though, is I want to show people what's going on right here, right? So this is a very typical view that we would do. So on a set of plans or a set of drawings, we're going to cut a section right through the whole building, right? So we're going to say, listen, this is what's going on with the entire building. Here's a section through the entire building. Now, what we want to do is start calling out details, right? So when I say, okay, here's the big picture, but here's what's going on right in this little area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create what's called a call out right here. Okay. So if we go to the View tab, and you go to call outs, we're going to pick a box right around here. Just like that. Just like that. Did everyone get it? Anyone not get it? Good. Now I'm going to select this call out window. I'm going to select this grip right here. I'm just going to pick it and I'm going to drag it up kind of out of my floor. I can't stand having that in my floor like that. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times. Anyone not with me? But before I open this one up, I don't like the name of this section. I'm going to change the name. In the properties, I want to scroll down until I find view name. Instead of section 1, all caps, I want to call it horizontal, HORIZONPAL section, SECTION. Horizontal section. And then we want to apply that. Now let's go ahead and open up the call out. We're going to double click on this little bubble right here. Double click on the bubble. Now it's going to open this call out up. Let's change the name of this as well. Let's scroll down instead of section 1, call out 1 for the view name. I just want to call it, and I click in here. Let's call it floor to wall detail. The big one was a section. This is a detail. Floor to wall detail. Click apply. Now we're going to change the scale. Instead of 1/4 inch equals a foot, we're going to click this fly out. And we're going to change it to 3/4 of an inch equals a foot. We're going to change our detail level. Instead of coarse, we're going to change our detail level to fine. Now we'll see how that floor comes into our wall, right? So this brick facade extends past it. And now our floor is going to cut out the inside this light gauge metal framing right here.
Professor, how did you get the detail view?
What's that?
How did you get the detail view?
So in my horizontal section, did you create the call out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just going to double click right on that little bubble right there.
Okay. Okay.
Did that work? Now you want to change the scale to 3/4 of an inch. And you want to change the detail level to fine. Did that work?
Yeah, I double clicked on the circle, but it's It's kind of showing stuff outside the rectangle too.
Oh, you might have accidentally, does it look like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So just click the little red X right here.
Okay.
Escape a few times. Now double click on that little bubble. Then it should open it.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Did it not work?
No.
So which view are you looking at? Are you looking at this horizontal section right here?
Yeah.
Do you have the call out?
Yeah.
Does it look like this or does it look like this?
The previous one.
Okay. So I'm going to have you hit escape a few times.
Okay.
Now notice that you've got that little bubble right there. If you hover your cursor right over that bubble
Yeah.
and just double click on it.
Okay. Now I've got it.
Sweet. So now we're going to change this down here from, I think it's 1/4 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So you're going to hit that fly out. Let's go to 3/4 of an inch equals a foot. And then the next one over, we're going to change the detail level. We're going to change that to fine. And that should look like this.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. No problem at all. Okay, 7:39. We'll make one sheet. I'm going to let you go. And when we get back together next week, we're going to make a bunch more sheets. Okay, but after next week, I'm going to actually have you hand in this model as progress. I was going to have you do it tonight, but I'll give you a break and I'll have you hand it in after class next week, just to make sure everyone's actually, taking the class here. Because there's 14 on here and there's 55 in the class. So let's go ahead and make a sheet. In the project browser, let's scroll down to the very bottom. Notice that there's a category that says Sheets All, right? I want to right click on that. I want to right click on Sheets All. And I want to go to New Sheet. What's going to happen is it's going to start a new sheet, a drawing sheet, and it's going to just give us a title block. This is a sample that comes with Revit, right? We'll use this one, that's fine. If you use this one on your project, I am absolutely fine with that. So we'll just grab the 30 by 42 and we'll click OK. Right now in the project browser, let's scroll up until we find level 1 floor plan. We're going to pick it and drag it. We're going to drag it onto our sheet. Not sure if this section will fit. Oh yeah, it fits great. Okay, so I dragged my floor plan onto my view and it's just sitting there, right? So now we have a border, we have a title block, we have a view title, level 1. Everything's good, okay? Now I want to go down to sections, right? Expand sections. I want to grab my horizontal section. I want to drag it onto my sheet. I'm going to put it up here. Notice though that Revit will kind of lock it right into alignment. Right, so I'm going to put it like right about here. Okay. Now notice what happens. It filled it out. So it knows that that is detail number 2 on sheet A101. Okay. This one's not filled out yet because we haven't dragged that detail onto a sheet. So if we drag floor to wall detail, click and drag this onto the sheet, we can just line it up with that view title there, pick a spot right here, and notice that it's going to fill that out. Was there a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is there a way to kind of like adjust the like size of the drawing without manipulating the dimensions? Like my plan view has a lot of empty space towards the bottom, and I just want to know if there's like a way to adjust that.
Yeah, so basically it's probably the elevation markers. So what you want to do with the view on the sheets, what you can do now, if you hover over it, notice that it has that big outline. Yours is probably bigger than mine, so we'll make the adjustment. But once you see that outline, double click right on top of it, and notice that you are in the actual view now. You can edit the view just like you were doing before, right? Everything's editable. Basically what you want to do is your elevation markers are probably way out here, you know, like that, right? So if you just pick a window around your elevation markers, you can drag them up. I'll drag this one down a little bit. And one other thing you can do, if you notice down here, there's crop view and there's show crop region. So like if you click on show crop region, this button here, you can drag this little region in, and that'll make it smaller as well. You can drag it in by the grips. Drag that grip up. Drag that grip in. And then you can turn it back off. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask where the crop region button is.
You found it?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, once you're done, you can just double click outside of the view and you have more room. But what's going to happen though is your view title might be like down here, right? So what you can do, if you just hover over the view title itself, select it. I'm going to hover over it and I'm just going to move it up. And so it's in the title block. You don't want it out of the border, right? You don't want it sticking out. You want it right inside of there so it's nice and clean, right? So it fits on the sheet.
How do you move the title block, Professor?
Yeah, so it's funny how that works. Like if you want to, so my tag is maybe outside of the border. So what you want to do is just zoom in on this line itself and select it. And now you can hover over it. Notice you get the little move icon. You can pick it and you can drag it up. You can move it a little closer to your viewport. Did that work?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So zoom out, go ahead and save. And if there's no more questions, I'll let you guys go for the night.
Are we gonna name them, or is that something we do in the future?
Name the sheet?
Yeah.
I forgot to name the sheet. I think a bunch of people have already logged off. The first thing we'll do next week is name the sheet. It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Right, so it's pretty easy to do. Thank you. I'm sorry I forgot. We'll make sure we do that first thing next week.
Okay.
Don't let me forget, because I probably will. All right, thanks, guys and girls.
Hi, can you show how to add the sheet again? My internet just dropped out for a second.
How to add the sheet or add a view to the sheet?
The sheet. My internet kind of dropped out for a second from there.
Right, so if you right-click on Sheets All in the project browser, so in the project browser, you got to scroll down to the bottom. If you right-click on Sheets All, here, I'll just delete the sheet I got in there. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to go to New Sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going to give it a default title block. So I'm going to select E130 by 42. That's the only choice I have. I'm going to click OK. And here it is. So now what I want to do is just drag my views onto that sheet. So I'm going to scroll up in my project browser to floor plans. I'm going to select level 1. I'm going to pick it, and I'm just going to drag it right onto the sheet, just like that. I'm going to put it like down here. I'm going to scroll down till I get to my sections. I'm going to select my horizontal section. I'm going to drag this up here. Notice that it kind of lines it up. I'm going to pick the spot here. I'm going to grab my floor to wall detail. I'm going to drag that, and I'm going to put it over here. Just like that. Put it right there.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank
And
you.
we're going to do this a lot next week. Nope, no problem at all. No problem at all. Any other questions? See if everyone's left. All right.
How do we hide the box around the horizontal section?
Oh, that box right there. So if you go ahead and double click, so double click, like hover over this viewport and just double click right on it. Click this icon right here that says hide crop region. Then it hides it.
Okay.
Then you can double click off of it. And those don't print anyway, but I like to turn them off. It makes it cleaner looking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So cool. So if there's nothing else, I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Thank you also.